Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a very exciting review, and I'm going to tell you why. I ordered this machine back in December. It's here. I've had a chance to test it. I think it's probably one of the most versatile pieces of equipment. And what am I even talking about? Well, it's the Prime HLP Selectorized single stack from Prime Fitness. So let's get started. Let's talk about the ordering process. So if you were going to order this machine about a year ago, chances are you would have had to contact Prime Fitness. You would have had no idea how much it costs, and you would have had to go through their sales rep to figure out the cost and even the cost of some of the accessories. Now fast forward to today, and Prime Fitness has actually updated their website. So now all of the pricing is available online. You're still going to have to go through a couple of other extra steps. You're going to have to click the get a quote, and you're still going to have to fill in some information, and then a Prime Fitness representative will reach out to you. They'll send you a quote. If everything looks good, all you have to do is print it, sign it, and then send it back to them. And of course, you're going to have to put down payment. Prime Fitness only requires a down payment of 50% at the time of ordering, and then when it's ready to ship, they require the additional 50%. One thing to point out, if you do decide to pay using a credit card, they do charge a 3% credit card processing fee. So make sure you're aware of that if you decide to use that payment method. When it does finally arrive, you're looking at two pallets. You're going to have one longer pallet, and then you're going to have one normal size pallet. That first pallet is going to have the HLP single stack components bolted, so you're not going to have to worry about anything being damaged while it's being shipped. And then the other pallet is going to have the weight stack and then whatever other accessories you bought. Now, out of all the gym equipment that I've purchased for my home gym and had to assemble myself, this one was probably the easiest. And that's because Prime Fitness actually pre-runs the cables for you. Now all you have to really do is follow the instructions, lay the pieces out on the floor, and then bolt them together. Now the hardest part of this entire assembly was this weight shield. And that's because it has 8 screws that you have to tighten in order to keep this in place. And out of the 8 screws, the 4 screws on the bottom are very difficult to reach, especially if you have large hands. So I had to have a ratcheting screwdriver and a box end wrench in order to be able to hold onto the nut while I tightened the screw onto the single stack. Now, one of the reasons why I think this is probably the most versatile piece of equipment that I own, at least, is due to the accessories that you can buy for this machine. In combination of the dedicated high pulley and the adjustable low pulley that this machine has. Now, it has a frame which is a 3x3, 1-inch holes that are 2 inches on center, and that's going to allow you to use all types of accessories that they offer. Not to mention, you can probably use some of the Rogue Monster and Sorinex accessories if you own them on this particular machine. The 2 accessories that I went out and I bought from Prime Fitness are the Lat Pull-down seat and then the low row platform. In order to put the low row platform onto the single stack, it's pretty easy. All you really need to do is line up these 2 pegs with the holes in the frame. You're going to move the cable out of the way so it doesn't get kinked, and then you're going to line it up. And then you're just going to slide this guy in. There's UHMW on the front of this, so it's not going to scratch the frame. And then there's a rubber stopper on the side. You just screw that in, and that's going to keep it from wobbling side to side. In order to put the Lat Pull-down seat onto the single stack is easy. All you really need to do is line up that first peg with the column of the single stack, and then you just tilt this in place. So again, you're going to want to move the cable out of the way so it doesn't get kinked, and then just slide this piece nicely in, and then just tilt it. And then you want to just grab the pin from the back, pull that, tilt it in place, and then lock it. And again, you're going to notice there's a slight wobble to the Lat Pull-down seat, but when you're doing the exercise, you're not going to feel that due to the fact that you're pulling basically straight down. The only thing you're going to feel is the little bit of rocking that the lat pull-down seat has due to the 1/2-inch pin that is in the back. If you go ahead and buy this machine, you have the option of either getting a 2-to-1 ratio for the adjustable pulley or a dedicated 1-to-1 ratio for the top, or you can get a 4-to-1 ratio for the adjustable pulley and then a 2-to-1 ratio for the dedicated high pulley. Now when it comes to ratios, if it's 2-to-1, your 100 pounds would now be 50 pounds of actual pulling weight, compared to the 1-to-1 dedicated ratio for the high pulley. That is going to be a true 1-to-1, which means that 100 pounds is actually going to be pulling 100 pounds. Now I went with the 2-to-1 because honestly I just want to have the most weight available for my gym, and I feel like it's going to give you the best bang for the buck, because not only do you get a 2-to-1 ratio for the adjustable pulley, but you're also getting that dedicated 1-to-1 ratio for the high pulley. That is going to allow you a 350 pound weight stack for doing lat pull downs, and it's going to allow you 175 pounds for that adjustable pulley. I went with the Selectorized unit, which is more convenient because I work out with my girlfriend and we just lift different weights. So instead of having to take and load the plates and unload the plates between sets, it's actually just a lot easier to pull the pin and select the weight that way. The 350 pound weight stack that this machine has starts at 10 pounds, which is going to be the top plate itself, and then it goes up by 20 pound increments. So if you wanted to utilize something like a 10 pound jump, you're going to have to use the band peg. Now the band peg has just enough room to be able to put one plate on if it's a 5, a 10, or a 2.5 pound weight plate. So if you want available options other than that 20 pound jump, you can use the band peg to achieve those. Now Prime Fitness does offer a plate loaded option. You'll save a little bit of money. So you can go ahead and get the plate loaded option, and not only will it save you money, but you're also going to have the option of being able to change the ratio with just pulling a pin. So instead of having to pick whether you want a 2-to-1 ratio or a 4-to-1 ratio, you can actually choose a 2-to-1 ratio, and then you can choose a 4-to-1 ratio just by pulling out the pin, which is pretty cool. Let's talk about what kind of space this machine actually takes up. It's roughly going to be a 5x5 area. So you're looking at the feet stick out about 62 inches, and then the height of this machine is only 92 inches. So if you do have a low ceiling like I do in my basement, you're going to have all the clearance you need to be able to get this machine set up and be able to do your lat pull downs. One of the downfalls for having such a low machine is depending on what accessories you use and whether or not you're tall or short. If you're a tall person, you might have a hard time getting a full range of motion. If you're a short person, you shouldn't have any issues with that. Prime Fitness does have a short bar with rotate handles, and if you use the short bar with the rotate handles, you will see that it's very difficult to achieve full range of motion. Now the 4-in-1 accessory from Prime Fitness is the one that I use, and I'm going to go ahead and put a link right here. Make sure you guys check out that link after you finish this video. But I feel it's one of the most versatile accessories that Prime Fitness has to offer. And it's just going to make using a lat machine so much more convenient compared to having to look for 4 different handles when you're doing your exercises. Now, I talked about the fact that this thing doesn't require a lot of space, but let's talk about some of the accessories. You would think that some of these accessories you would have to go ahead and put, let's say, on a wall or find extra space for, but no, Prime Fitness actually has you completely covered. On the legs themselves, there's actually 1-inch holes that are drilled through. That allows you to use the legs as actual storage. So you can take your accessories and you can put them on the legs and get them out of the way. And again, that just allows you to have this machine in a small amount of space with just so much versatility compared to having other machines. Another benefit that the legs have, besides just storage, is they actually have adjusting feet. So if your floor isn't completely level, you can actually adjust the feet to compensate for that. Now, the biggest downfall of this single stack is the price. You're looking at $2,800 for the unit itself, and that is not including shipping or any of the attachments that I mentioned. Now, if you wanted to sit there and include the shipping, I was looking at roughly around $600 for shipping. The attachment was $350 for the lat pull-down seat and $225 for the low row platform. Now, with shipping, I ended up paying almost $4,200 to have this unit shipped to my house. Now, that is an insane amount of money for just one piece of gym equipment. So guys, what do you think of the Prime single stack? Do you think this is something that you would want in your home gym? Or is the price tag just a little too much? I feel for the fact that it's $2,800 plus the accessories and shipping comes out to that $4,200. I feel that this might be just a bit too much to justify for having in your home gym. Now, that being said, if you have very little space and you want some of the best equipment, I do highly recommend you purchasing this single stack. Like I said, it's very versatile. The fact that you get the 350-pound stack, the adjustable pulley is a great bonus. Plus, honestly, it looks great. Some of the questions that I see on some of the other reviews is, well, I'm 6'4", I'm 6'5", am I gonna be able to reach full range of motion? Well, the answer really is it depends. Depends on what accessory you're using. If you use a traditional lat pull-down straight bar, you should be able to easily hit your range of motion. Now, the problem comes when you're using something like that short bar from Prime Fitness with the rotate handles. Those do hang down just a bit too low, and I feel that you're gonna have a difficult time reaching that full range of motion, especially if you're a tall person. So that's one of the biggest concerns that I saw. And the question was, does the lat pull down still rock back and forth? And the answer is, unfortunately, yes. It has a 1/2-inch pin that is actually sitting in a 1-inch hole. So due to that fact, that's the reason why, in my opinion, that it rocks back and forth. But it's not super noticeable unless you're lifting very heavy and you're really bracing yourself for that. Otherwise, I barely notice the rocking, so I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal breaker if you are on the fence of whether or not you should get this machine. Well guys, that's been my review on the Prime Fitness single stack. If you guys enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like button. If I missed anything whatsoever, go ahead and drop me a comment. And as always, if you don't want to miss any future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day.